The first Tomlin Tuesday of the year, some Steelers transactions, and a Cam Heyward update. Big Deek news. Yesterday we did a whole show dedicated to Jaylen Warren, obviously because of his contract extension. But for today's show, we're starting with Jaylen Warren again because there were a few pieces of content that dropped after I posted yesterday's video that I wanted to react to. And the first one is this picture posted by the Steelers Twitter account. It's Jaylen Warren signing his contract. But this one stuck out way more to me than any of the other Steelers posts whenever players sign their contract. Because to me, this looks like art. I'm not even joking with you. Like this picture of Jaylen Warren signing his contract looks like something you could blow up, put in a frame, put in your living room, put in the kitchen, and it'll stir discussion among guests to your house whenever you have people over. I'm being dead serious. Look at his facial expression. Is he smiling? Is he not smiling? It's almost like the Mona Lisa. I don't think that's necessarily what Jaylen Warren was going for, but it just happened. It just came to be. Art was made. But that was first. Second is Jaylen Warren's post-contract extension interview he did with the media. And one of his quotes really stuck out to me, and it just embodies everything we were talking about yesterday with Jaylen Warren and how he's the epitome of what a Pittsburgh Steeler is, because he was asked about us drafting Caleb Johnson and how Jaylen Warren's future was still up for debate. At that point, all he had was the one-year deal. After 2025, though, who knows what was going to happen in 2026, 2027. And we took a guy in the third round, the same position that Jaylen Warren plays. So he was asked, how'd you feel about that draft pick, knowing that your future wasn't necessarily secured, and we took a guy at the same position? And here's what he said.
Locked up at that point. Were you concerned like that?
No, I wasn't concerned. Like I said, I stay present in my moment. My lane. I was glad we got Caleb. He's a baller. The more weapons, the better for the team, and that's how I always moved. Growing up, whatever. I'm glad it happened for me. And I hope it happens for everyone on this team.
Exactly what I'm talking about. We need more Jaylen Warrens on this roster. We need 11 Jaylen Warrens on offense, 11 Jaylen Warrens on defense with that mentality of being happy that the Steelers took someone at your position because they're going to help the team. Team first, not me first. Something that we've questioned about this Steelers team, if we've had enough players like that over the last several years, but looks like we're heading in the right direction, for sure, with us trading Pickens and this whole new wave, this whole new culture that we got going right now, and then obviously signing Jaylen Warren to this extension and having him be a leader on this offense is us going in the right path, the right direction with all this stuff. But let's get to some housekeeping here with the Tomlin Tuesday press conference that just happened a couple hours ago. He had some injury updates on who's in and who's out for this Week 1 Jets game. And looks like we're going to be pretty healthy outside of Derek Harmon.
Derek Harmon is the only guy at this juncture that I would characterize as out. I would characterize Herbig as questionable. He had a really good day yesterday, and so we'll leave the door ajar for him and see where work leads us during the course of the week. Certainly, his participation and the quality of his participation will be the key variables in terms of our decision-making, whether or not we choose to use him or not.
Herbig, you're just going to have to see what happens with practice. He's been dealing with the hamstring, but trending in the right direction. If he's got to miss Week 1, he's got to miss Week 1. I'm cool with it. Obviously, we got a couple good edge rushers ahead of him, and it might be smarter for us to save him until he's fully healthy to get him out there, especially with these soft tissue injuries. But there's a chance he'll be out there Week 1. Definitely a chance. And outside of him, and like I said, Derek Harmon, we're looking pretty good. We're looking pretty healthy going into Week 1. That's all you can ask for coming out of preseason. Now, we did post an updated depth chart with all the roster cuts that happened and us getting to our final 53-man roster. And not too many changes outside of it missing a bunch of players that were on the team when the depth charts were dropping throughout the course of the preseason. A lot of players missing because of the cuts. But the one notable thing I guess you could look at is we bumped up Roman Wilson to either be wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4, and that was a big storyline going into preseason because we had him as our 5th receiver behind like Scotty Miller and Robert Woods. And you're just like, bro, we drafted this guy in the 3rd round in 2024, and we're expecting a lot from him. This isn't a good look to have Scotty Miller and Robert Woods, guys that are complete afterthoughts that we signed back on this roster, above a guy like Roman Wilson. But he had a strong preseason. The cuts were made. We got our final 53-man roster, and Roman Wilson finds himself back in his appropriate spot on the depth chart, at least the expected spot that we thought he was going to be at for week 1. So I did mention Robert Woods. He got cut today. We initially cut him whenever we did the 53-man final roster stuff, and he came back the next day on practice squad. But apparently he asked for a release because he actually wants to – he's trying to play in 2025, but he also wants to be on someone's active 53-man roster, which is something we can't really promise him right now because we're good with the weapons that we got on offense. We're good with the 5 receivers we got. We're good with the tight ends, the running backs, and there's just no room for Robert Woods. We don't really see a role for him. Only way he'd probably get called up is if one of our receivers got hurt, but that's no good for Robert Woods. He wants a different opportunity. He wants a different path to make a roster. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if another team picks him up, but the Steelers just cut him. And in a corresponding move, we picked up another guy for practice squad, a linebacker by the name of John Radigan.
Who?
I'm not going into depth with this one. All you guys need to know is he's a journeyman practice squad linebacker special teams guy. And now he's on the Steelers practice squad. We know who our linebackers are. I don't think at any point we're going to be seeing John Radigan, with all due respect. Now let's get to these Cam Heyward updates because we are approaching week 1. And Cam Heyward still doesn't have a new contract reworked. And if you remember when he first addressed the media about it, he said that he would be willing to sit out games. Now, since then, he has become, by all accounts, I think, a full participant in practice. Seems like he has ended his hold-in a way. Now, he could still be unhappy about the contract, but it seems like he's participating and he's back at practice and prepping like he's going to be out there week 1. But then on his podcast, he was asked by his co-host on any updates regarding the contract, the potential holdout, if he's going to skip games. And here's what Cam said.
Oh, well, I guess the main question, too, will Cam Heyward be out there?
We'll see.
Now, Tomlin, in his press conference today, he thinks Cam's good to go. He doesn't seem like he has a concern in the world that Cam's not going to be out there.
I'm certainly expecting Cam to play. Cam doesn't play a lot in team development over the last several years. My job is to get him in and out of Latrobe, and I've done my job. And so there are no reservations about his participation or his readiness. I'm sure he's chopping at the bit.
Which means to me it's either Steelers, Tomlin, Omar Khan, like the front office, the upper brass, they know that they're going to give Cam his money at some point before week 1. They're just slow playing it. They're just doing the whole flair for the dramatics thing. Or they're just going to be calling Cam Heyward's bluff on this. Tomlin's calling his bluff and be like, bro, we're not giving you the contract, but we know you're not sitting out either. So, like, you're going to be out there. I don't know which it is. I think they're calling Cam's bluff, though. I don't think Cam's going to sit out. There's no way. If the Steelers are that set on not giving him the new contract, then I think that's how it's going to go. No new contract. Cam's not sitting out. But if the Steelers want to be a little softer, if they want to bend on this and say, you know what, Cam, you're Steeler for life. You've been around here. You've outplayed your contract, even though we just reworked it and did the extension last year. We could bump you up a few more million. You deserve it. Let's get you happy, and we'll be off to the races here with the regular season starting. But if we know anything about Omar, he's not really one for just doing like sentimental deals and just throwing money out there. Like even the Jaylen Warren deal. We love Jaylen Warren. We're pumped that he's a Steeler. Like that was a shrewd business deal by Omar Khan. Like that was an amazing deal for the Steelers to get Jaylen Warren that contract extension at the average annual salary that he's getting. Great business move by Omar Khan. Every move we've been making, as much as we could say, like it's cool because it's helping out the Steelers, or like we like this player, we like that player, big name, we bring them in the black and gold. It's cool. They're also all good business moves by Omar. The money works in the Steelers' favor for all of them. Not only are we upgrading our team, we're bringing in some of these big name players and keeping big name players, but they're also just flat out right good business deals. They're Steeler friendly as well. So we'll see how this goes. My money's on Cam playing. There's just no way. The backlash would be crazy. That's why I mean, if Steelers want to play hardball, if Steelers are like pissed about this and are just like, no, we're not caving. We're just not caving it on this at all. Cam, we're calling your bluff. Then Cam's gonna play. He's playing no matter what, whether the deal gets done or not. I just think there's no way he can't play. That's like if we had a prediction, does Cam play or not? Cam plays. Now the next question is, does he play with the new contract or without the new contract? I think that's a little bit more fuzzy, but I think Cam's playing. No doubt about it. Because the backlash for him not playing would just be absolutely crazy, considering the Rodgers comments from early in the offseason. Considering, like, those Jaylen Warren comments at the beginning of the show, man. Like, there's got to be some self-awareness here, right? With the contracts that Cam has gotten. And I know there's been times where he has been underpaid, and this is one of them, but what's it about, bro? Is it about the money? Then fine. Like, you have every right to be pissed about this, do your hold in, hold out, or is it about the team? If it's about the team, it's like, all right, maybe you just got to overlook some stuff. Maybe it's time to just say, I'm not going to get exactly what I want here, and that's life sometimes, but we're moving forward with the 2025 season. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. Let me know your thoughts, though, on today's show. Topics discussed. Stay chilling. Peace.